All right, it is a fantastic day here on In the Circle because she is back as a head coach and back on the show. She's the new head coach at UTSA. I speak of Vann Stuedeman, who is kind enough to join us here on In the Circle. How you doing?
Well, I'm fantastic, like always. And I know everybody's getting tired of hearing that, but I am absolutely fantastic.
Well, it's been a while since we've heard it since you with the title head coach. Let's start with that. What was it about UTSA that you felt this was the right job for you to be back as a head coach after obviously you spent a year in Illinois as an assistant, some time away from the game? What was it about this job that appealed to you to become, hey, I want to be back as a head coach?
This place is on the rise. It is a great town. Well, not even a town, city, huge city, seventh largest city in the country. Dr. Amy, he's our president, and our athletic director, Dr. Lisa Campos. They have athletics is headed in the right track. Our football coach, Jeff Traylor, is doing an incredible job putting us on the map in the football sector, which we all know, that football, you win on football and you get people excited about your school, it just brings more excitement. Football is the headliner and gets people involved in your sport, at least in your school, in your athletic department. At least it gets people talking a lot about it. And then if softball can put a good product on the field, then you have the town and city involved in softball. But the vision of the athletic director and our president is what really brought me here. It is just really a great time to be here, headed in the right direction. Football's already doing it. Women's basketball is doing it, is on the way. And it's women's soccer, they're doing it. And it's track's doing it. Track's doing really good. So it's a really booming time to be here. And I've always thought from the outside looking in that San Antonio, UTSA, the state of Texas is loaded with softball talent. And you look at the other mid majors around the state, everybody's good. And so I've always looked at the program from the outside in, knowing that it could be a really good place to coach. And so I'm very excited about the passion and energy that this athletic department has right now. And I'm excited to be a part of it. It feels like I'm 25 again, just starting out, really, really excited about what's to come and the dream of a great future. And really excited to be a part of that for the whole athletic department, really, but softball in particularly.
Did you envision going back to being a head coach at some point? That this just kind of happened, was the right situation at the right time? Give me your thought process. Did you always want to get back into being a head coach, or were you not? You were satisfied not being a head coach, and then how UTSA entered that radar in that process?
Well, that's a great question. Not everybody gets to take a sabbatical, is what I'm sort of saying. And it's almost like if people could take a year break from their job, and it's like a year long. I know a week vacation's great and you are energized and ready to go back to work, but after doing it for so long, you don't even know you need that. And then when you get it, when you come out on the other side of that sabbatical, you realize that you needed it, one, and two, how much you really do love what you do. Not that I ever didn't think I did. I totally did, but it's just a brand new perspective of how much fun I really have coaching college softball. And so I don't know if I said I've got to be a head coach again. I don't know if that was ever in the forefront, but I knew I wanted to get back in the game on the collegiate level, somewhere, somehow, even if it was junior college, Division II, NAIA, pitching coach, assistant. I was just I wanted to get back into it, and timing is everything, and the timing was right, and uh I came off a sabbatical and I'd done some other things, and what I really realized is most of the other things that I was into were transactional, and coaching is relational, and it's the people and the relationships and the opportunities that you get to afford others, student athletes, but also just opportunities to work in the community and opportunities to represent something bigger than yourself and build relationships. You know, just have arms everywhere, you know, little rivers and fingers and streams and branches sort of everywhere, across what athletics provides, and especially college athletics. But I don't know if it was right there in the front that I was going to be a head coach. I just knew I wanted to get back into it after I'd had that break.
How do you feel you're different today as a coach as you were the last time you were a head coach at Mississippi State?
Well, a lot has happened since I was there. You know, we lost Alex Wilcox, and then we had COVID, um, and I pursued other opportunities, real estate, and coached in high school and taught, excuse me, taught high school for a minute. Um, so a lot has happened, and there's been a lot of time for self growth and perspective. A lot of things have changed, and I would say, you know, I think the biggest is from Alex, and that is, you know, she showed us all, and I got a front row seat to it. So it's one thing talking about it, it's another thing living it. And I had a front row seat at watching her just live her best life, uh, while things around her and happening to her body were excruciating. She, you know, painful, you know, they were using poison to try to kill, you know, the cancer, and you don't feel good, but you never knew it. She just, it was incredible, really. So I think just having the passion for life and for people that she had has really been what has changed about me. Of course, you know, I think before her, yes, it's about the people, but it's also about you got to win, you got to win, you got to win, got to get the best player, got to get the best coach, got to have the best bus, got to have the, you know, got to charter, got to have bigger, better, more. And then she comes in the picture and brings it all back into perspective. And it is, if I've ever said it's about the people, it really is. It's about the people. I always try to remind myself, keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing to me are the people that I get to be around. The players, the support staff, the administration, the community. And that's where, you know, places I've been, and now all of those people are what, you know, drive me. And I believe where my perspective may have changed just a little bit. Will I still be competitive, and will I still be fiery? And, you know, people, I guess, would call it crazy. I would say I'm just passionate. Will I still have those qualities? Absolutely. I'm still going to be very competitive. But it's just going to probably look a little bit different behind the scenes in the people, investing just even more in who I'm with and who I'm around.
Let's talk about obviously UTSA. I know you're still getting used to your surroundings there, but just talk about what you're inheriting there from a facility standpoint. For those that may not be familiar with UTSA, it's a big year for the university. They're moving to the American Athletic Conference. Just talk about that and what you're inheriting and what you're now a part of.
Well, I'm really excited about joining the American. I mean, we've got some really great softball schools in the American. Everybody that plays softball in the American is a contender, and basically really need to, my goal is to get UTSA softball in that same conversation. I hope that we can be at the top of the league. It's gonna take a minute. We've not done very well the last couple of years. It has not been the best in the league. So that's going to take some time, but my hope is that we are in the conversation at the top of the league. But it is such a strong league. Almost everybody right now could be, with the exception of maybe us and one, maybe two more, everybody is really good. And you have South Florida, who's been to the World Series, and Kenny Erickson, he's an incredible coach, and everybody knows that. And you have Charlotte, who just made a big run this last postseason. Wichita State, she's done a great job being consistently good there since she took over the program, and they made a good run. So great quality coaches. I know the new coach at UAB. He was our manager at Alabama. He's going to be awesome. I think he got Coach of the Year this year for. I know they just switched as well, but. Stephanie Van Breakel, I coached her. She's at Memphis. I coached her at Alabama. I recruited and coached her there. So I look for the conference to just continue to get stronger. And I'm excited to be a part of the American and a part of these great coaches and these great schools that are in the American. I think we're going to have a mindset, a mindset change. It's easy sometimes, I think, when you're maybe in the thick of the game, it's easy to kind of go, oh no, here we go again. And there's got to be that mindset shift that instead of we go, oh no, here we go again, we embrace that moment and use it to catapult us to here we go. Here's our chance to dominate this. And I think there's going to take, it's going to take some mentality there. I know there's some great softball in the state of Texas, great softball players. So, without having coached against or gotten to watch these kids here at UTSA as much as I would have liked to, I've watched them on video and watched some games. We've got talent. We're talented. We just got to put it all together and sort of have that mind shift, that mind change and mindset that we like a challenge, and that if it gets hard, good, bring it on, because we know it's going to get hard and we like it. So just, I think the mindset and moving forward that way is going to be the biggest challenge, but really excited about doing it.
Sounds to me like the mental side of the game is something you like to work on a lot with players, as far as giving them that confidence, even more so than the physical standpoint, because you've done this before, where you've built a program that was maybe at the bottom when you took over and build it up to a point at a high level to make the NCAAs, like you did in Mississippi State. But it sounds like, and I don't want to, correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like with UTSA, you like some of the talent pieces you have, but it's the mindset, the mental side of things, because they don't know how to win. They haven't won, and that's the challenge in turning a program around. Am I being accurate there?
Absolutely. I want these kids to compete, run into the trash can. I mean, they've got something they need to throw away. I want it to be a race, and they need to make I want to make an A because she made an A, and she's not going to make a 96. I'm going to make a 97. It's just a continual competitive atmosphere. And I do believe it has a lot to do between your ears. And I've seen so many talented players not reach their full potential because they just couldn't get out of their own way mentally. And I've seen some really average players be great because they maybe didn't overthink it, or had more confidence maybe than the next person next to them. So we've been told this for so many, I can remember reading quotes when I was growing up about, it's 10% physical, 90% mental. Well, I mean, I think it might be, more than that. It's very important. And, when you watch things like The Captain, or, you see Michael Jordan's, I forgot the title of the series, The Bulls, but
Last Dance.
Last Dance. Thank you. When you watch those things, those players admit, hey, look, I'm I'm just like the next guy. There's a time in here that maybe I'm struggling. Um, how do I handle that? And they say it. They say, and it to me, all that says to me is it's normal, it's common, and it happens to the best. So if I'm not the best, that's okay because I can still be on the same, not the same level physically, but I can relate to this dude. Like he's telling me I'm the best and I struggle mentally sometimes. It's okay for me to. I just have to get through it. And that's what they do better. They rebound faster. Obviously, they've been given some God-given talent that's just amazing. You know, out of the roof, out just anomalies. You know, they're great players, but I just feel like if they're going to admit to us that they struggle a little bit from time to time with confidence, then it's okay for us to say I'm struggling with my confidence today, and I got to work on getting out of this. And I think the stigma of not being able to recognize that is still there. I think confidence is huge, and a lot of people need it. They need to do it before they have confidence, and that's hard sometimes. So, I do believe in the mental game. I believe in processes. I believe in routines and where do I feel the best. And some people, need to be, I know some great pitchers that never talked to anybody in the dugout, and I know some great pitchers that were in the middle, the loudest, and not, cheering, not even thinking about softball. And it's the coach that can balance that right because there's so many times in softball that well she wasn't cheering or she wasn't well that's fine, we do want everybody to be invested, but maybe her investment looks a little bit different, and for her to perform at her best she might need quiet, she might need the bathroom, she might need to be in there away from everybody, whereas somebody else may need to be right in the middle cheering with their pom-poms so they're not even thinking about it. And it's just getting to know yourself, and then as a coach and your teammates getting to know each other, so that we can help each other be the best that we can be in each scenario.
Speaking with new UTSA head coach, Vann Stuedeman here on In the Circle. You mentioned earlier about Stephanie Van Breakel Protho, obviously, who's the new head coach at Memphis, just concluded her first season at Memphis. She's building a program, trying to build it up. A lot of history with the two of you. As you mentioned, you coached her at Alabama. Just kind of expand on that, because obviously now you're both in the same league. I know the American has expanded, so we don't know how the schedules work, but at some point, you two might be going against each other in the opposite dugout. What is that going to be like? And just talk about the history, because I know she got emotional when she was on here last year when you came up and talking about what you've meant to her. So just talk about what she's meant to you from that standpoint.
Well, she's, makes me get emotional too. It was early in my career. I had just gotten to Alabama. She was one of my very first, just somebody that I really went after. I can remember the day I saw her in Plantation, Florida. I know the field I was on. I know where she's standing in the dugout, and she went down to warm up, and I followed the fence line and watched her, walked all the way down to where she warmed up, and then followed her right back down the fence line, back to the dugout, and basically did everything I could without breaking any rules. Stood very close, to the dugout. Didn't say anything, but she knows I'm standing there, and really, really wanted her to come to Alabama. And she had a bunch of opportunities. She had Tennessee, she had Alabama, she had Oklahoma, she had LSU. And what she did for our program, just I really contribute. And I mean, I say this lightly because there's a lot of contributions. But she is one of them. She was the first one really that had a ton of energy while she was playing. So she might strike somebody out and she might give the fist pump. She might go down to her knee and it really got the crowd engaged. So I really felt like, to her credit, the Alabama crowd, the environment that's gotten to be so daunting for visitors, she was a part of creating. I really give her a lot of credit for creating that atmosphere. she would hit a double and she would like, pound on her chest while she was, at second base. She just got the crowd involved because she was so animated and so excited. And, now we see a lot of that, but back then it wasn't that big of animation, and it definitely wasn't on TV. So you had to be there to see it. And she really got, I credit her. Winning helps, obviously, but then that energy was great. And then coaching her was a dream. I mean, she did everything she could to be the best that she could be. If that meant we used to run around campuses, like when we would go to the opponents while our team was practicing doing, BP or whatever, we'd jog around the campus together. And I mean, she did everything that she was supposed to do. Matter of fact, this is a great story. We were going into her junior year, and I knew that if we were going to make any run, she was going to have to really focus on pitching. She liked to hit, and she was a good hitter, and she was hitting, and she hit for us all 4 years. But I meant, go home this summer and work on pitching. Yeah, you can get a few swings in, but we need you on the mound. And she did that, and she came back her junior year and she was ready to go, and she made All-American. And I remember saying to her, we need you to be an All-American for us to get where we want to be. And she did it, and I got chills thinking about it. I mean, when you ask a player to do something and they do it for you, you are just thick as thieves forever. I mean, we're going to be tight forever.
Yes, she joked last year that she's taking credit for ending your sabbatical and getting you back into coaching, because by her taking the Memphis job, opened up the Alabama pitching coach job, which went to Illinois' pitching coach that came to Alabama, which opened that job, which is the one you ended up getting. So she's taking full credit for you being back.
Well, my dad jokingly told her one time we were at a tailgate at Alabama, a recruiting tailgate. My dad went up to Stephanie and said, hey, are you going to make my daughter famous? And Stephanie says, I already have. So she gets the credit for getting me back in. She also got me my first dealer car. She was the one that we won that year after her sophomore year, and I got a car, and from the university they upped the pay. And so yeah, she's always going to be on the resume.
Very rightfully so. There. What I want to ask, I know you're still working on your coaching staff and figuring that out. Do you have an idea what you want from your coaching staff? And number two, will you handle the pitching staff? Because obviously that's your background. So I don't expect you to give us too many details, but I am curious, will you handle the pitching staff, or will you bring somebody else in? What do you envision to have on your staff?
Well, I have, number one, I want a great human being. I want somebody who wants to invest in the student athletes, somebody who knows what it's like to be a team player, like on the coaching staff. You're a team within the team. Somebody who's willing to, think outside the box. Somebody who is gritty. But the number one thing is a great human being. And if that person coaches the pitchers, then they can coach the pitchers, and I'll do something else. I want good people here. I want to have a good time. I want to enjoy the people that I'm coaching with. I want them to love their job. We should all have the opportunity to have a job that we love. I mean, the old saying, find a job you love, you never work a day. Well, that's how I've felt my whole career. I've been fortunate to be in great places with great people all along the way, and I want to provide that atmosphere for whomever comes here. So really just a great human being, to answer your question. Just really good people.
What got you into softball, for those that don't know the story? Because obviously, and I'll bring her up in a little bit. Obviously, your sister, Les Stuedeman, is a successful head coach at Alabama, Huntsville. So softball is in the family. But what got you interested to go in that route? Because sometimes You might say, I don't want to do what my sister does, or have similar passions. I mean, I might do something different. What was it that hooked you into softball and specifically coaching?
It would be her. We had some great. My mom, uh, when I was in middle school, we didn't have any girls athletics until my mom and a group of parents went up there and got us volleyball, basketball, and softball. And then when we got to the high school, the same thing. Her and a group of parents got up there and got us volleyball, softball, and basketball. And so I'm seeing my mom, fight for us. And then we had some great coaches along the way. Fran Brash was one of them that really impacted my whole family. Um, and it was just what we did. It's what our family did. Some families, you know, play chess. Some families go to the beach. Our family went to the ballpark, and we lived at the ballpark. We stayed at the ballpark, and it's just what we did, and loved it. I don't even know, but the first game I played in, the ball came to me. I ran the other way. I mean, I think I was like 8, but I mean, I was afraid of the ball. So, who knew? Like, who knew? I didn't even know growing up that this was going to even be an opportunity. When I went to college, there were very few schools playing college softball, especially at this level. And for me to have been able to do that has just been a dream come true, and something I never really knew to even dream. So to all you dreamers out there, keep dreaming, because sometimes you hadn't even dreamed up your dream. And I definitely had not dreamed up my dream, and I've gotten to live it out. And um, all 3 children, I have 2 siblings. My sister coaches Division II softball, Vann Stuedeman. She's my hero. And my little brother, he's a high school basketball coach in Alabama. And all 3 of us are, both of them are much better coaches than I ever thought about being. I can't even carry their tennis shoe bags. They're both awesome. But I think, we were just that kind of family. We're competitive. Our parents were competitive. My mom told Bear Bryant one time that she wanted to play football just so she could play for him. It's just in our blood, really, I guess. I mean, it was a God-given thing, really. And, God just put it in my lap and said, "This is your gift, and this is what you're going to do." And I said, "Yes, sir."
Yeah, no, it's worked out well. And, once you're settled in, we're going to have to get you and Les together on the same episode, kind of like what we did a handful of years ago. Because I remember I interviewed both of you about 4 years ago. You both admitted it was hard. You both followed what the other was doing, and you were both the biggest fan. But you both, obviously, the seasons, are going head to head, Division I, Division II. So you couldn't be there in person to support the other as much as maybe you would have liked to. Now, since then, you had this break. How often did you go to games? Was it hard to go there? Because are you stressed out, hoping she does well? What's that like, being that spectator, being that sister, if you will?
It was challenging. One, it was hard because I missed it. I wanted to be out there. But then 2, it was fun because that's what we do. That's just what we do, is support each other and show up. And if we might even get in a fight. We might fight the whole time I'm there, but I'm there, and we've shown up. And that's how our family operates. That's how we are. And we believe that you just show up. You just keep showing up. And she's had 2 boys. That one's 2.5, and one just turned 1, and she's been crazy busy with that. And so she had a great year last year. But being a fan is hard, because you can watch a whole lot more. So a whole lot more. You don't just know the end result or watch the last couple of innings. You're invested in every pitch. I watched every pitch. If I wasn't there, I was on the computer watching. And it's just, you're watching my brother coach too. I mean, it's just, you're just biting your fingernails the whole time, because you want them to do well. But it was fun. It has been fun getting to spend time with the whole family, her, my brother, my parents. I've missed so much over the years, because this job is very time consuming, and you are invested in so many people that sometimes you neglect your own people. But it has been fun, getting to spend some quality time with them and watching her teams play and watching her coach, um and my brother as well. And watching, he won a state championship. He got the head job at Coleman High School in Coleman, Alabama. First year wins the state championship. I mean, it's been a lot of fun being able to be around them more.
When you watch them coach, all your family members coaching, are you able to turn off the coaching side of you? Are you watching it just as a family member, supportive, or does the coach in you kind of also jump in there and say, I would have done this if I were you, and bring that feedback to him? How does it work when you're watching? Are you just a supportive family member, or is there a coach in there that's still, hey, I'm going to analyze what you did there as a coach?
Can I plead the fifth on that question?
Fair enough. That's a good line. That's tremendous. And I was thinking of you when last, because they were in Tampa in their regional, which was an amazing regional.
Yes.
And it was marathon games. They play a ton of marathon games, by the way.
Yeah, I think it was two 16-inning games. There
Yes.
might have, yeah, and their region is so good. And I just, you're watching the games, and I watched every inning of both of those games, and they could go either way, and it was just gut wrenching. But Les gets after the game, I'm like, oh my God, that's heartbreaking. And she's like, we had our chances and we didn't take them. And you know what? That, plain and simple, that's what it was.
Wow, that's pretty fun. That's what it is. That's a coach talk right there, though. So they know it's always opportunities with
Yes.
there. We know you got a lot to do, and you've been so kind with your time. But I'll let you go with this last question. When UTSA fans see your softball team on the field, what should they expect to see? And give them what a Vann Stuedeman led UTSA softball team is going to look like on the field once you kind of have everything in as planned.
Uh, I want people to come to the game, look out there, see student athletes that are invested in each other, invested in the game, and they have no idea what the scoreboard said. If they come up and we're losing by 100 or we're winning by 100, I want our team to look the same. I want our team to be having fun, loving each other, and I want that to be able to be seen. Excitable into the game, invested in the game and each other. And to do that, you have to show up and be present and be where your feet are.
Well, we look forward to seeing your team play. Obviously, in the American Athletic Conference, it'll be an exciting year for the university as a whole across the athletic department, but certainly in softball. And I'm excited, Coach, to see you back in the dugout. Look forward to that. Look forward to staying in touch. We'll definitely get you and Les back on at some point down the
All
road.
right.
But in the meantime, thanks for coming on, and congrats again. And we'll definitely be in touch and talk soon. Thanks for coming on and talking to us.
Thanks, Eric. Thank you for having me. And birds up.